You just hear his comment?
That is hysterical.
Laura, we're just doing a test online. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Great, thank you.
Let's see. I guess I didn't see the updated one. Uh-oh. Well, shoot. It's gonna say the right one. Yeah, I'm always a big late dollar short or whatever they say. Well, it was last. Yeah, it's just like. But second time a week I have to track you. Oh, yeah, I need to start doing more. Pretty bad at it. Well, anyway, it looks like the same stuff, just moved around a little bit. I think. Yeah, that's on there. That's on there. That's on there. Moved. Yeah, so it's all the same stuff. They just moved it. Yep. Okay. Slightly. Oh, just. So we've got to go home. Optimize it. Okay. One of them not in the dark one. Great. I didn't read one. We're talking about here. So these are what?
When you have people cameras, not. You have people cameras that. Okay, we're rolling with it. Sounds good. Thank you, Nancy. All right, at 6:02, I, Cadence, I declare this meeting to order. Ms. Candwell, can you please get a roll call?
Here. Here.
Here.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. This time, council, is there any questions on the agenda as it currently stands?
No.
Okay.
We're good, sir.
This time, we're looking for a motion to pass the agenda.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion, we approve the agenda as presented.
Can we get a roll, or can we get a second to the motion, please?
I'll second that.
Can we get a roll call?
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Thank you. At this time, we're moving on to agenda item 5.1, the general announcements. Mr. Stockdale.
Yeah, no major announcements. Just wanted to do a very quick thank you to everybody that came to Umatilla Landing Days on Saturday. Very successful event, largest parade that we've had. And we had a great turnout there. Looks like we had the largest numbers during the day that we've ever had. A little less during the evening than we had last year, but still a lot of people out at the event. So again, thank you very much, everybody that came, and everybody stayed safe. So that's the most important thing. It's a lot of smiling, happy people. So just wanted to pass along. Thank you. No other announcement.
Thank you. This time, Sergeant Dyke, do we have anyone who signed up for public comments this evening? Nope. Okay, moving on to the consent agenda 7.1. We have just the minutes to approve this time. Is there any current questions or anything we need to fix? Okay. So I'm looking for a motion to approve the agenda, approve the minutes from June 17th.
Mr. Mayor, I would make a motion to approve consent agenda item 7.1.
Thank you, Mr. McLean, for your motion. Can we get a second on the motion, please?
I'll second it.
Thank you for your seconding. Roll call.
Aye.
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 Thank you, guys. Have it. Moving on now to the public hearing this evening. Moving on to the our main show this evening, which is the 9.1, the interview and appointment of council position number 4. So thank you, Ms. Ms. Torres, Mr. Smith, Mr. Cotterill, and Mr. Anderson for joining us this evening to do some quick interview questions. The way this is going to operate right now is we have given you 12 questions to practice, and then we'll go down the line, starting with Funderburk. We'll work down the line, and then each council member will get to ask one question from that list to all the candidates, and then you'll each get 2 minutes to answer those questions as we go along. Just make sure you're being timely. I will try my best to interrupt you at 2 minutes. So I'll just try to keep it to 2 minutes. When Mrs. Scandival gives us a wave or Mr. Stockdale gives us a wave, then we will know that's at 2 minutes and we'll go from there.
Mayor, we also have candidate Laura Peterson is with us on Zoom as well. And then I'll, just for the sake of, I have a big clock on this little screen here. I know it's not quite in front of you, but if you need to, you can kind of just look over this way. But yeah, we'll kind of give you a wave and you'll take a look at that there.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Ms. Funderburk, are you ready to ask a question?
Okay, I have a question.
Mhm.
I choose whoever, or am I starting like?
We're starting with Ms. Torres and we'll
Oh,
continue
Miss
down the line.
Torres.
Yeah.
Madonna. Okay, I just wasn't sure if I started or I just randomly.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, starting your question has to be the same for all the candidates.
Yeah, so we're just asking one question.
One question,
Yeah.
all
and
and
then
they all
I'll
answer.
Your question.
Oh, okay.
And then we talked about this, we'll do a round robin where we'll start at the
Yes.
next person, we'll move down and we'll just cycle through.
Did it.
We got it. Oh, good. It's okay.
Wow.
We left
That's
details
what
out.
happens when you're on summer break.
No.
Okay, here we go. Start with you. Thank you for being here, everyone. The question is, there's so many good questions here. What do you believe are the top 3 challenges facing Umatilla today, and what's one idea to address one of them?
The 3 that I think are the top 3 challenges are communication and housing. One way to address one of them, I think cohesiveness has always kind of been a thing. There's so many different things can get a little heated, especially with how much growth. So I think that's just as we go. Question, communication, again, that's also always been one of those things you put information out there online, which is are mostly receiving their information. But for me, I want to focus on housing. I think that there are some ordinances that maybe we can start to maybe look at creating in order to hold landlords accountable, or just to kind of tighten up some things that are going on with our constituents that maybe we're not really hearing because people tell families to look at these meetings or they don't feel like they can talk about these issues. But just from my experience from last year, there's just a few things that I think is done about it. They're kind of simple things, but I think it can be very effective. So that's
Thank you very much. Mr. Smith.
Not like fancy downtown or parking lots or any of those kind of things. I think it's more.
Thank you, Mr. Cotterill.
Thank you. I think for me, top 3 challenges: representation for our community, communication as well, and just our increasing budget and transparency with that. I think when I think about representation, council members are elected to represent our community. I think individually, each of you do a great job of that, but our council as a whole, not reflective of the population in our community. So I think it's important that we continue to recruit and empower people from our community, voices that aren't heard. And I think it would be a great idea to look at something like what Heidi Sipe and the Umatilla School Board have implemented, where when there's a need for increased representation on the school board, they can actually appoint up to 3 advisors to help fill those roles. They participate in discussions, trainings, events. They're not voting members, but they bring that much needed representation to the board's perspective. Thank you.
Mr. Anderson.
For me, it'd be communication, just like everybody else said. It would also be just people showing up, getting people engaged, getting the community engaged. And also with the gentleman down there said the infrastructure. I work in the construction industry and I've seen what happens when infrastructure falls behind. Once it falls behind, you're just chasing your tail. And I don't know if y'all ever seen a dog chase his tail, he hardly ever catches it. So if we don't get a foot in the door there, then I feel like we're gonna grow, burst at the seams, and for lack of a better term, just kind of diminish, turn into Hermiston or Erie, somewhere it started before we did.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And then on Zoom, we have Ms. Peterson.
Yeah, communication is great, and working as a community to make our community a whole, like, was just said, in order to keep flourishing and not going backwards at all.
Thank you. Mr. DeFluff, your question, please, sir.
Sure. What unique skills or experience would you bring to the city council? Or if selected, what do you believe you could add to the existing council?
And then Mr. Smith, you'll start us off this time.
Involved in the planning to have been chair of it and now vice chair of it. My career, I did dialysis clinics and responsible for budgets, upwards of $30 million. So I have that kind of experience. Another thing that I believe is this is how if there's nobody senior status for council, usually it's a bunch of old ones. But
Thank you.
Colorado. For 23, 24 years. So I've been part of the community and basically covered the name. That's it. I wanted to be involved in still.
You bet. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cotterill.
Thank you. Yeah, I think for me, I'd bring a lot of curiosity to the council, and I'm a collaborator. I like to reach out and get other people's perspectives, especially when making big decisions. And I think that I really recognize the work that the council and the mayor and the city has done to really increase communications. I think I've seen a lot of growth there, but now I'm looking forward to like, what's the next step? How do we get out there and get it even more so that we're not just welcoming people to the table, but we're out there actively seeking feedback and seeking to get them to the table. So that's what I'd bring.
Mr. Anderson.
I bring a little bit different outlook on things. I've worked throughout this country. I've been in the lower 48 putting up wind turbines and solar farms. Not to say that it's a good thing or a bad thing. It's just something I've done. So I've seen different communities, different diversities, different everything from big cities to little cities. I've seen how they interacted. I was involved with their community through outreach programs through the company I'd worked for. I feel like I get along with pretty much everybody. I can blend really well, but I can also stand out when needed. I can also tell somebody when they're in the wrong or in the right. A good job is just as bad or just as good as a bad. I feel like I can help get our city where it needs to be and where it needs to go from.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson. Ms. Peterson.
I would say probably like working as a team. I'm really good at working with team members. Great at working, independently, but I think with my age and always wanting to be united is one of the better things that I feel I can bring.
Thank you. Ms. Torres Madrona.
But I think one thing that I do is I'm very proud of how well I represent my Latino community, but the younger community at that point, and during that time there were third people. But I've worked in most jobs that I've had that have required me to be the voice for underrepresented mothers, women of under poverty, people of monolingual, not speaking this, but it's still very much a part of our community. And so I think I didn't being able to do that in a way where I think people are getting that's what I would be adding to.
Thank you. Mr. McMillan, your question, please.
What do you believe should be the council's approach to handling disagreements and balancing strong differing opinions?
Mr. Cotterill.
Well, I think it's important to have different opinions and to be able to share those. I think that's an important part of council, is to not always have the same opinions on everything, to be able to be representative of everybody's opinions. But I think that it's important to do that in a matter of like civil discourse. So following procedures and standards for communication, doing it in an appropriate way, modeling, for the greater community, like how to handle those types of disagreements. So, thank you.
Mr. Anderson.
I feel like with that, you got to have an open mind. You got to be able to listen to what the other person's saying, even if you don't believe it. You got to be able to discuss the differences and how they're different, why they're different, what makes them different, and who makes you different versus what makes them different. I also feel like if we don't sit down and discuss and have differing opinions, then everything's boring. And I mean, you're just gonna go one way and one way only, and nothing's gonna happen. I don't know if you guys ever seen a wagon with one wheel, it just goes in circles, doesn't get very far. That's all I got.
Thank you. Ms. Peterson.
Yeah, I would say the communication and teamwork and respect for everybody you're dealing with. Everybody's got their own opinions, and that's what makes us all individuals. And, it doesn't mean anybody's right or wrong. It just, there's conflicts all the time, but if you talk it out, then you can figure out a solution.
Thank you. Ms. Torres Madrona.
I've worked in tourism. I think I think that I know it as much as that like for little kids. I was on council. I remember training, and things started to get a little heated in some moments. We were some of the exercises were a little intense, but we would take a step back. We would laugh and remind ourselves, like, hey, we're all like trying to get to the same end point. So I think that particular experience is I don't remember how impactful that was. Because while we're all very focused on trying to get things done, I think sometimes we step back and realize that we all need to do something. Very
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Smith.
Council is bigger. I realize that as a group. And just because somebody doesn't agree with you, doesn't mean they don't know what you're talking about. Doesn't mean they don't have anything to choose. So we need to start with respect to.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. McMillan.
What would you consider to be Umatilla's greatest recent success?
Then this goes to Mr. Anderson.
I would think honestly, like, recently I was at landing days not too long ago. Well, actually it was Saturday. I guess everybody else was there too. That was a pretty good turnout, pretty good showing. It was well organized. It was well advertised. Also with Rock the Locks, I've known, not been personally, but I know a few people that have, and they thought that it was a great idea and thing for the smaller community to get something out there for everybody to see and realize that we're here. Also, one of the other ones, if you had, I was gone for a while. I was building turbines, like I said. The facelift of Umatilla Main Street is just a whole different world than when I graduated from here. So that was another success, I believe, and seeing the curbs and everything else getting done, because those are in disarray when we were walking from school to pick a pop to go get chicken strips. Yeah, yeah, it's about what I've seen for the most part.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson. Ms. Peterson.
I would say that the updating of the city streets and lights and, just like he said, bringing the facelift and showing that there's new growth and wanting to put Umatilla back on the map and having a curb appeal for people passing through to want to stay.
Thank you. Ms. Torres Mandrano.
For me, I think, the changes are probably what brought this about, but I think the community's willingness to step forward more. I've seen a lot more people wanting to like voice their opinion, wanting to show up. I don't know if they do or not, but I think I've heard a lot more of wanting to be a part of the growth that is happening. That makes me feel good, even though there are, like you mentioned before, a lot of different, like different opinions. There's a lot of tension that kind of comes from this, but I think that's a huge success. When I was on council in 2017, it sounded like crazy. And obviously it was the very beginning of this boom that we experienced. But I love seeing people be passionate about it, whether it's online or we're talking about it in person. I hear others talk about how it's really experienced. Even if it is turmoil, it's been willingness to work. I think that's an idea.
Mr. Smith.
Remember back in 2008, when financial crisis hit. Well, the thing about that is beautiful. But now things change. Living here, we have some sections coming in. If you're just sitting there, nobody can be.
Yeah.
But the conflict that's in the city now is because so many people want to make it. So, great success, I think it's turning the city around. And council, various groups of councils, over the last kind of 15 years, made a big difference. Staff here, paid staff is so much better than this. We have professionals in every position. When I was on council, our city manager, his career was a banker who never done anything before service. Okay. Or he's still under, but was on the phone. So that's the, what I think is a big success, is this thing's on the move. I enjoyed living here, but mostly because of the nature and the river and all that. Now I enjoy living here because of the. I remember part of time. Also, really nice. That I called council and said, "But the performance is better people." Yeah, they get that. You just need to utilize them, motivate them. I want to be good. I will be some.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Mr. Cotterill.
I think there's a lot of great successes recently in Umatilla, but the one that just really makes me smile is the amount of programming available in our community now, especially for our youth. I think Parks and Rec have done a great job with that and have other partners as well, Public Works and City. There's a lot of work that goes into making that happen, but I just think there's so much now for people to do in our community and great parks to do it in. And so that's one of the things that really makes me smile.
Thank you. Mr. McLean, your question, sir.
Choices.
We took all your choices.
I don't know, there are plenty here. They're all good. Current council meetings are averaging 2 hours or more twice a month, plus work sessions, joint sessions, open houses, etc. Knowing this, what time commitment can you make to this position?
Ms. Peterson.
I don't have a problem with any of the time commitment because it's to help our community grow and succeed and all of that. And you have to be able to juggle and make it work if this is a position that any of us is wanting to take on.
Thank you. Mr. Rosemandrano.
I mean, I've been on for 5 years. Probably was juggling a little too much back in my first, when I was first involved, but my time is definitely opened up for me to be even volunteering. So it was just fine for me. I don't have a problem with having an extra session business.
Thank you. Mr. Smith.
I think on time. Also, I think it's something that we need to be more active as a council. I think we need to find a way to actually meet everybody in the city. That what we use just conversation, not formal, not all meeting rooms, was. So that we can get people more involved. We have a lot of people out there that also find a way to get them involved. And that's been a problem for the last 20 years. So I don't have any magic solution, but that's what we need to find. But I think that basically I have my dogs, my church, everything else.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Mr. Cotterill.
Thank you. Yes, if selected for this position, I'm absolutely committed to putting in the time. I know it's the 2-hour-long meetings. Luckily, Tuesday night's a pretty good one for me. But I know there's also the time that it takes, the weekend before when you're going through the packets and the work sessions, the joint sessions, all those kind of the events around the community. Definitely willing to put in the time. The only exception would be if my duties with the school district were to impede that.
Mr. Anderson.
I mean, and I'd be willing to commit whatever it takes to help progress and move forward as a community. I mean, as it sits now, I work every day and I can still manage to make it to a meeting. I can move stuff around if needed.
Perfect. Thank you. As the last question, counselors.
I have a question.
Okay.
Is there any way we can allow each candidate 1 minute for a closing?
Wasn't our current
Yep.
stipulated rules, but I think we could.
Well, we put in their instructions that they'll each be given 3 minutes for a closing statement if they'd like to do that. So we can move on to that if we'd like.
Fantastic. So we'll start with Ms.
I said
Torres,
this 3 minutes.
Manjano, and you have 3 minutes for a closing statement.
I like that.
So what I was thinking is that I really wanted the growth of my, I wasn't sure what that was gonna look like. We were in the beginning stages, we were planting super community. We were signing off on our very first Amazon building. We were super excited, but we were nervous. I was listening, watching, learning from my peers who have been on council before. It was really a really back there. Want to be involved again. I have gone through my own personal growth in those last almost 10 years, and I've loved being here in my community and watching it grow. Sometimes from the sidelines, a lot of times actively. I love being a voice for my community, both underrepresented youth and just the community as a whole. I've had my fair share of tension with the community, just like it is my family. We fight, we speak up, we apologize, we want what's best for everyone. We love our community. Not everybody is always in the story. The biggest fight is we all fight. I think that we have something to build something together. And I would do my job as being a part of it from the very beginning, planting that seed, watching it grow into a season, and then hopefully someday, having my faith in it, and I'm going to be able to.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Smith.
A great opportunity to really consider that we never grow and really make a change. What's going to happen is we need to keep it up. We need to get people involved. Somehow get through. I know people try, and I'm not sure if I can do it. But it's something I don't feel a great deal about. Even if it was just going to the grocery store, talking to people. Because groceries were small enough that you can really make a difference in groceries. So I think the whole council needs to get it. The whole difference is things make the city great places for living. It's way better than it was 20 plus years ago when I lived there. But it still has a little. And for one thing, we're pretty much never in public meetings. It's nice to see we don't have to downtown. And I know we've done things pretty well, but we haven't really changed what it is. It looks better, but what's happened so far? And I know we needed all the planning rules even 9 years ago. There was some changes made then. It was broken up in the zones because that's how the planning commission and the city council felt the city should grow. It's going to grow much more. Not by it, but just the plan, the direction of it that had to happen. One of the other things I was going to mention was that one of the it's open. It's a beautiful place that it could be a historical thing. It could be prize involved with their side. You could have it as a historical park for what really settlers and immigrants that came here did. So that people really know our history. There's a lot of people that think there that don't realize there was a town that closed because it was been a flood. But that's happened in 50 years. So it's probably not going to. everything I love to see is the Lewis and Clark Trail. Friend of mine is no longer with us, for sure. It's just passionate about it. Not one's house. But I think to put together Lewis and Clark Trail that leads through our city, if not extended to Oregon and Capra.
Mr. Smith, that is time. No, you're
Thank
great.
you.
Appreciate it. Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you,
Smith.
Lau.
Mr. Cottrell.
I was really excited to see how many people applied for this position. And I think that that's a testament to the work that you all have been doing to engage the community. And I hope that you continue that work and even engage on an even deeper level. I think you have a great opportunity tonight to work on some of the diversity things that we need to do for our council, and would love to support the council in increasing that in community engagement any way I can. So thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Anderson.
Just, I mean, I really can't talk about much for 3 minutes outside of a motorcycle or fishing trip, so. I'd love to help out. I don't have a crystal ball, but I'd like to look in it and help everybody interpret the answers, and hopefully we get the right ones, the right persons appointed, and can't wait to watch the city grow.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson. Ms. Peterson.
I would like to be a part of something that's moving forward and showing progress instead of being one of those people that, behind closed doors or other parks or whatever, and just complaining about it. I want to, help out and grow as, our city grows, and, feel confident that, was able to make a difference in, even just a few lives, to make people in our community better and enjoy our community better and spend, time and money in our community instead of always going to another community.
Thank you, Ms. Peterson. Okay. So now we're on to the council discussion and deliberation section. Is there any questions from council to council members? Before we continue our deliberations, I just want to say thank you to everyone who applied this evening, and those of you in attendance. It's like Mr. Cottrell just mentioned, it is an honor to have each and every single one of you guys apply and to raise your hand and say, I want to be part of this. We appreciate it, and I can't speak highly of each of you enough. So I appreciate all of you guys' time and effort for being here this evening. Thank you.
And you're not making it an easy choice.
No.
No,
but-
not by any means.
A lot of good answers.
Yeah, five great candidates. Thank you. You all obviously have prepared and have studied the questions and thought. And I mean, really, unfortunately, we have to pick one.
Yeah.
But I'm sure I'm speaking for everybody up here. I could work with any one of the five of you, and this is
Yeah.
going to be a little bit of a difficult choice.
Yeah.
Just remember, if you don't get chosen November, that's when election comes. So you guys can always come back and put it in there if you don't get chosen. So.
Yeah,
it's gonna be easy.
I was surprised to see, especially you, Selene. That's awesome. I love it. I was on the council with you. I remember it well. Yeah, I think it's fantastic that we have an insurgent of people that want to be involved. That's fantastic. Because I do remember those days when it was just us. Yep.
Okay, is there any deliberations or any further questions or comments from council at this time? Okay. Then at this time, we're looking for a motion.
So are we gonna do, we're gonna write down what's the best way to do this? Because we've done it multiple ways before, so.
Yes, your code does not allow for secret ballot vote or anything
Right.
like that. So your options here are to anyone can make a motion for whomever they feel they would like to nominate to fill that vacant position. If that motion gets a second, Mayor can call for clarifying questions if somebody has one, but other than that, then you'll make a vote. If the motion fails, then we can wait and call for a next motion and see if there's somebody else. If your first motion that passes, which requires at least 3 votes in the affirmative, that's going to be there's not like a second motion or a third. Now, you guys can go about it a bunch of different ways. If you wanted to sort of narrow it down to 2 and do it for another time, you can certainly do that. But so all the options, I guess, are on the table and available for you.
Well, I just think we have a lot of stuff going on, and I think we have some very viable candidates here. So. After what I heard today and right in front of me, Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve Lyle Smith to fill the city council position number 4.
Thank you for your motion, sir. Can we get a second to the motion if the council chooses?
I would second that motion.
Thank you, Mr. McLean. At this time, Ms. Scannable, we're looking for a roll call.
Aye.
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 Thank you very much. The council has decided to elect Lyle Smith to the council, and we appreciate you for taking position number 4. And once again, thank you for all that applied. Thank you for your guys' tireless work to
Thank you.
read all of our
very much.
questions and work hard on that. And please congratulate Mr. Lyle Smith.
Thank you, sir. Thank you to all the candidates.
Yes. Congratulations, Lyle.
You can join us up here and make your statement.
Yep. And I definitely echo what Ms. McMillan said. I would love to see all of you on the ballot. That would be fantastic.
Yeah.
Please, please.
Ms. Scannable.
I, Lyle Smith, as a city council member, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution and the laws
of the United States and of the state of Oregon,
of the United States and the state of Oregon, and the charter and ordinances
of the city of Umatilla,
of the city of Umatilla,
that I will perform
and that I will perform the duties
of my office
of my office
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my abilities. Okay, the one thing I'd like to say is that we've never had this quality of people step up for a position that's 6 months long. I feel honored to have been selected, but I also would love for all of you to stay in contact with me. And if you have issues that I can bring before the council, I'm more than willing to do that. If you want my cell phone number, you can get it from David. That's it.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Okay, moving on now to item 9.2, the first reading of ordinance number 878, an ordinance of the city of Umatilla to establish the position of the city attorney and amending the name of Title I, Chapter 7, City Administrator to the city administrations and corresponding reference within the Title I, Chapter 7.
Thank
This
you.
time, is there any current questions? Oh, yeah.
Thank you. Oh, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, sorry.
You guys.
I'm just rolling on right ahead. Thank you again for joining us this evening.
Thank
and
you all.
Feel free to stay as
Thank
long
you
as
very
you'd
much.
like or head out this evening. Thank you, Mrs. Peterson, as well for joining us on Zoom.
All right. Thank you, council members. I'm going to exit at this time.
Thank you.
you.
Thank you, Laura.
Bye.
Okay. At this time, is there any questions about the ordinance as it currently stands?
No.
Okay, council, we're currently looking for a motion for the first reading of the ordinance.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to approve new business item 9.2, the motion for the first reading of ordinance number 878.
Second,
It's been first and seconded. Looking for a roll call, please, Ms. Cannibal.
Aye.
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 The ayes have it. Ms. Cannibal, when you have a second, can you give us the first reading, but take your time, no rush.
funding references. I don't want that.
Thank you. Moving on to 9.3, the resolution number 01/2026, a resolution authorizing an operating interfund loan in the amount not to exceed $750,000 from the general fund to the water fund. Dave?
Thank you, Mayor. So the city is in partnership with Amazon to construct a new point of diversion as well as a new water treatment facility that will serve two purposes. One is the water, their non-contact cooling water demand, excuse me, and then the other is to begin the implementation of our water master plan, which has us transitioning mostly to surface water by the year 2037. During this process, the original estimate for those facilities to go up was 2 years. That's now been amended to take 3. The main reason for that is mainly just our permitting from the Army Corps of Engineers has been significantly delayed. Most of that has to do with both the Walla Walla District and the Portland District have had turnover in staff, mainly in their real estate specialists, which processes these paperwork permit applications. So what we had to do in the meantime was create an interim solution. As some of you saw on the tour, there's a 1 million gallon lake tank up in the industrial park. That's what this does here is that has an annual cost associated with the operations with that tank that serves water for our industrial partners there. In this case, it's just Amazon. This is an interfund loan from the general fund to the water fund at a rate of 4.6% return each year. It requires, because it's an interfund loan, so we're lending money to ourselves, our funds are restricted. Because it's an interfund loan, it requires annual approval each year. We make this payment at the beginning of the year, but the ratepayer, again, this time Amazon, repays that back each year. So their rate for their uses covers this dollar amount as well as that 4.6%. So the general fund will see $750,000 plus 4.6% in return on that loan, and the water fund will be able to pay for that over the course of this year. So that's what we're doing with this one here.
Fantastic. Is there any questions from council this time?
No.
Okay. At this time, we're looking for a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion. We approve new business item 9.3, resolution number 01-2026.
Thank you. Your motion. We're looking for a second to the motion, please.
I'll second that.
We got a roll call.
Counselor Funderburk.
Aye.
Counselor Duffloff.
Aye.
Counselor Katie McMillan.
Aye.
Counselor Smith.
Aye.
Counselor Dennis McMillan.
Aye.
Counselor McLean.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Moving on now to agenda item 9.4, resolution number 02/2026, a resolution authorizing the city manager to sign a housing infrastructure support fund grant, contract number HIP 2514, the state of Oregon.
Thank you, Mayor. So we applied for funding to through Business Oregon in partnership with their Oregon Infrastructur Finance Authority to put in, we talked about infrastructure tonight during interviews, to install new water and sewer infrastructure along 8th Street from River Road to the southeast corner of the school district property all along 8th Street there. We were awarded, it's a $171,000 project. The total project cost is in as of today, your adopted budget. The grant is for $100,000 to cover $100,000 of the $171,000 cost.
Okay. Any questions from council as it currently stands?
I was just curious, why was 8th Street picked? Is there a certain reason for that?
Yeah, so we have a weird topography issue going on 8th Street. It actually, the elevation drops relatively rapidly to the south. And so what we have there right now, there's the mobile home park that's there. All of their wastewater gets collected into a private system on site that gets grinded and then pumped uphill onto our sewer, which is in the 7th, up at 7th Street. It's not even there on 8th Street. And so this did two things. One will bring sewer closer and lower, and then make That property immediately to the west, shovel ready. It'll have now power, power's already there, but it'll have water and sewer available to it without having to put in a private grinder or pump station or anything like that, which is very expensive to maintain and move on there. And then also the property immediately to the north of 8th Street, there's just a couple empty lots there. So this area is identified as one that would be a high candidate for affordable housing and with a willing property owner that's there, and also brought us closer proximity to that southeast corner of the school district building if there was going to be a need to connect any additional utilities to that side of that facility.
That makes sense. I was just curious.
We've been talking about that for a while. 2 or 3 years.
Okay, any further questions at this time, council? So no further questions. I'm looking for a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion, we approve resolution number 02-2026.
Thank you. Can we get a second to the motion, please?
I'll second that motion.
Thank you for your second. Can we get a roll call?
Counselor Funderburk,
Aye.
Counselor Duffloff,
Aye.
Counselor Katie McMillan,
Aye.
Counselor Smith,
Aye.
Counselor Dennis McMillan,
Aye.
Counselor McLean.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Motion passes. Moving on now to our second public comment this evening. Okay, good headshot. Discussion items at this time, there's nothing. Mayor's message. I just want to once again reiterate my appreciation for anyone who applied for the current council position that was now been filled. And I want to say big congratulations to Mr. Smith for joining us on the dais. We really look forward to working with him and bid everyone a happy July and keep all your fingers on 4th of July. Mr. Good boss. All right, moving on now down to
We're out of order. That's all right.
recess to executive session.
Recess for executive session.
Yeah, okay. All right, that's interesting. Do you want to save it to the end or do we want to do council discussion first? I noticed that. That's
Yeah, you guys you'll have to do it by motion to move it up
Yeah,
ahead.
let's just
but-
keep it then.
let's just keep it. Yeah,
Yep,
that's fine.
We'll just move it on. Okay, at this time, I need a motion to go into executive session.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion, we adjourn our regular session and reconvene in executive session, please.
Thank you for your motion. Thank you for your second. Can we get a roll call, please?
Counselor Funderburk,
Aye.
Counselor Duffloff,
Aye.
Counselor Katie McMillan,
Aye.
Counselor Smith,
Aye.
Counselor Dennis McMillan,
Aye.
Counselor McLean.
Aye.
Motion carries. The city council will now meet in executive session pursuant to ORS 192.6602E to conduct deliberations with persons designated by the governing body to negotiate real property transactions. Representatives of the news media, city manager Stockdale, finance and administrative director Ince, public works directors Scott Coleman, and interim community development director Carmichael, and the city attorney shall be permitted to attend executive session. All other members of the audience are asked to leave the room. Representatives of the news media are specifically directed not to report on or otherwise disclose any of the deliberations or anything said during these subjects during the executive session, except to state the general topic of the session as previously announced. No decision will be made during executive session. At the end of the executive session, we will return to open session and welcome the audience back to the room.
Very good. Thank you, sir.
Excuse us. Thank you. I believe that was the door.
Stay in touch. Hey, Rick. Rick, do you want your misspelled name tag?
No, they spelled his last name wrong too.
I know.
Sorry about that.
Is our legal team counsel joining us this evening? Okay. Just you, Dave? Wow. Is that the right Zoom recording? Okay.
Starting a timer, getting it going.